And tonight, in our top story, we are diving into a breakthrough that could define the future of cyber and national security. On June 16th, India officially entered the quantum era. DRDO, in collaboration with IIT Delhi, has successfully demonstrated quantum entanglement-based secure communication over more than 1 kilometer of free space, the first time this has ever been achieved in the country. This is no ordinary experiment. A dummy optical link set up on the IIT Delhi campus achieved a secure key rate of nearly 240 bits per second, with a quantum bit error rate below 7%, well within the global threshold for secure quantum key distribution, or QKD. Now, why does this matter? Because in a world where traditional encryption can be cracked with enough computational power, quantum communication offers fundamentally unbreakable encryption. Any attempt to intercept an entangled photon disturbs its quantum state instantly, alerting the system to eavesdropping. For defense, finance, telecommunications, and national security, this is a game changer. No fiber laying costs, no reliance on fragile underground cables. Free space QKD can work across challenging terrains, coastlines, even in urban clutter. And in the future, from ground to satellite, enabling a secure quantum internet. This achievement didn't happen overnight. Professor Bhaskar Kanseri's team has been at it for years. In 2022, they built India's first intercity quantum link between Vindhyachal and Prayagraj using fiber. In 2024, they pushed entanglement distribution over 100 kilometers of telecom-grade fiber. And now, this 1 kilometer free space breakthrough takes India one step closer to satellite-based quantum communication, something only China has achieved so far. It's not just science, it's strategy. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh called it. This is what he said: a new era for secure communication and future warfare. With India's national quantum mission allocating 6,000 crore rupees and PM Modi urging space tech startups to create 5 unicorns in the next 5 years, the message is quite clear. Quantum isn't optional, it's national security. Globally, the United States and China are already building early versions of quantum networks. By the mid-2030s, experts expect the world's first quantum internet. With this breakthrough, India has announced it will not be left behind. The stakes are enormous. From banking transactions to military command systems, data privacy to distributed quantum computing. And as our digital footprint grows, quantum may well become the backbone of India's secure future. And we are very proud because joining us tonight to unveil the science behind this quantum milestone for India is the one and only Professor Bhaskar Kanseri, Chair Professor of Physics at IIT Delhi, who leads tonight's, this wonderful milestone breakthrough. He heads the Quantum Optics and Quantum Information Lab and has actually spent 2 decades advancing quantum optics, entanglement, and secure communications. His team delivered India firsts: the Vindhyachal Prayagraj Quantum Fiber Link, 2022, 100-kilometer entanglement distribution, 2024, and now the Free Space QKD demonstration, 2025. Working with DRDO Centers of Excellence, he bridges fundamental science and strategic technology, laying the groundwork for quantum networks, satellite links, and a future quantum internet. Internationally recognized and for sure will be He also mentors India's quantum talent and
I can hear
startups, driving technological sovereignty. Welcome to the show, sir. It is truly an honor having you here with us.
you. Thank you.
I hope you can hear me, sir, because I would like to hear you loud and clear, Professor.
Yeah. So can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, and that brings a huge, proud smile to my face. It is such an honor speaking with you, and it's a huge milestone, sir. So, before we actually get into the entire journey and the future and the roadmaps and the technology behind it, I just want to first and foremost say a big namaste to you for doing what you and your team have done. And we are truly, truly honored to have you on the show, and we're very proud of what you've done.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
As always, a professor who is succinct and to the point. Thank you, sir. So, can we move on now? Can you hear me, sir? I lost you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Yes.
wonderful. Okay. So, sir, well, let's dive into it. It's a huge milestone for the country. India's quantum breakthrough, the breakthrough free space entanglement, which is over 1 kilometer towards QKD, which is quantum key distribution, and ultimately a quantum internet. So, my question, the first one to you, Professor, is this: that on such a milestone, could you actually help us understand the significance of this 1 kilometer free space entanglement test and how it moves India closer to building a quantum internet and satellite based QKD?
Yeah. So, as you already mentioned in the beginning, that we are in the era of quantum now.
Sure.
So far, whatever is being communicated is digitally. It is all using classical communication, and here the security of communication is also ruling by the classical ways. For example,
Mm-hmm.
if I and you want to communicate securely, say for example, I want to give you some secret message, I will do it in a way that I will encrypt it with some key or some code, send
Sure.
it to you, the code, securely so that nobody takes it in between. And you will use the same code to decode the information, and that way you will get the secret information.
Sure.
Now, in internet, normally this is being done by very, very difficult, complex problems which are not solvable by the existing computers. For example, a supercomputer will take years to solve or to guess that code, and that way the communication is secure.
Hmm.
However, as we are in the quantum domain and the quantum computers are coming up, these computers are expected to be millions of orders more powerful than the classical
Sure.
computers.
Yeah.
That means that our these codes will be prone to be broken. And once they are broken in fraction of seconds, the eavesdropper or the adversary will get the information and they can actually steal the secret data. So for that, now the problem is that how to secure this kind of communication with physics. And one way to do that is use what we call quantum physics,
Quantum.
which
Right.
has an inherent property that it can be measured only once. That means that if I send a quantum particle, say photon, and use some information through that photon, then it will not be tampered basically.
Sure.
So in our communication, we are this free space communication. We are sending photons from one side to the other, and that
Mm-hmm.
is the transmitter to the receiver, and that way the communication is highly secure compared with the classical communication. Also, we are using a specific property called quantum entanglement, and this
Mm-hmm.
property is specifically for quantum objects or very, very small objects like photons. That if
Mm-hmm.
I know about one part of that, I immediately know about the other, irrespective of the distance between them. So that means
Ah.
that anyone tries to break in between, say, if I'm
Mm-hmm.
sending a photon which is entangled with another photon, and somebody in between tries to
Tries to
steal that
intercept it or
information,
steal it or,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
hack it.
In that situation, the other party will know immediately that somebody has
Hmm.
tried to tamper in between.
Somebody
So
has
one
tried
can
to be
easily
naughty in the middle of that. Right.
exactly one can easily catch the adversary, and that way the this kind of communication is unhackable. And what we are using is essentially a free space communication. That means we are not using any wire, any cable, or any sort of media. It's just free space.
Which you and your team, professor, had done earlier on that 100-kilometer fiber cable that was used, and this is, of course, you have graduated from there and you've gone into free space.
Yeah, so this fiber-based thing was done earlier, and in case of
Yes,
that, we
yes,
used the media, which was optical fiber, which we currently use even for our telecommunication, for our
sure.
internet, by which we are talking about. We are still using that optical fiber. So we use the same fiber for now sending the quantum data, and we found that we can go up to 100 kilometers. However, in case of free space, we are not even using any quantum channel as wire or cable. We are using the free space, and that way it is very useful because in many places you cannot lay the fiber. If you
Yes,
are say in a sea, or you are in a top hill where there is a
true,
difficult terrain, then
true,
putting a fiber is not possible. Then how
absolutely.
to secretly communicate between say two troops which are sitting there?
Yep,
And in those places, this free space communication could be very, very useful. And since
wonderful.
in future, one way would be to scale it for longer distances, and that way we can cover up a large part of India. And in fact, the whole goal is to be pan India in near future, and
Hmm.
that would be something where one can transit toward the quantum internet. And using satellites, in fact, longer distances can be covered, and that way the secure communication could be possible for very, very large distance.
So, before I get into that aspect that you just mentioned in terms of the sheer scale of things, I really want to understand from you the aspect of the fact that your team and you have moved so quickly and swiftly from 2022 to 2024 to 2025. I mean, it is fabulous. It's astonishing. It's brilliant. How is it that the entire aspect has come together for you and your team? I would love for you to please share that bit with us, because, to be honest, that is inspirational.
So you are asking about the free space one or the fiber one?
Yes, I'm asking about all three because they've happened, so quickly. I mean, logically, I would say that, 2022 and then 2024 was the fiber, as I had mentioned earlier. And then
Yeah,
2025, we're looking at free space. So there
yeah.
must have been some very seriously accelerated milestones which were set by you, probably as a team leader. Or how did that work? Was it something that was pre-planned? Was it something that just because of the achievements, you guys went full throttle? I would love a little peek into that.
Yeah, yeah. So in fact, when we were working on, if you remember, in 2022, we did this Vindhyachal Prayagraj
Yes,
fiber
yes.
thing, which was not using entanglement. Then we were working solely on fiber-based things. Then we realized that in every place, putting fiber would not be possible. So probably we should switch to some other mode of communication by which we can set up entanglement between two distant objects.
Hmm.
And then there were already in past, there has been some work which was already done, for example, in ISRO for free space communication up to 300 meters. And
Sure.
since last 2-3 years, no much development in that direction has happened. So we
Hmm.
took it as a challenge, and we tried to figure
Nice.
out what could be the problems behind that, and how can we, because this scaling is not linear. If, for example, if I am doing 1 kilometer, going 2 kilometer would not be just doubling the resources. It would
True,
be
true.
actually a lot of things associated with the propagation of these photons or these beams in free space. And in free space, you have a lot of disturbances. For example, you have turbulences, you have this pollution, fog, mist. So many aspects are there which deteriorate your photons. So
Hmm.
then we have been working hard with our team to figure out those regions by which we cannot scale it further, and we tried to mitigate those those deterrents. And finally, we were, because these experiments in this free space thing are done in open sky, especially in nights. In
Hmm.
daytime you cannot do them
Correct.
because of sunlight. The noise is so high that
Sure.
no photons can be observed. So we have been working actually in nights, in midnight, when all the light sources, like all major, there is a ground there where there are floodlights which are very, very intense. So we have to wait that when they are basically not used only, then we do the communication in the night. So that way we have tried to scale it, and we started in our lab itself, which was for 20 meters. Then we went to the rooftop. We went for 100 meters within the top. Then we scaled it to 1 kilometers. And I would also like to mention here is that if there is a thunderstorm or there is a rain, then we cannot
Yes,
work because our optics is disturbed. There is a lot
true.
of humidity in those. These are very critical elements. So we had to find, we found all these kind of deterrent. And finally, we are happy that we, during the summer, we are able to do this 1 kilometer thing.
to
Yeah.
crack this. And a big congratulations again and again, sir. The as
Thank
many
you.
times as I keep saying it, it won't be enough. But you just mentioned in terms of the turbulence, you mentioned in terms of the weather conditions. You talked about the fact that you could only do it at night. So the bigger constraint, the way I understand it, is turbulence, or is it ultra precise pointing? So where is it that I'm coming to is, why does it actually matter for security, national security, and the strategic edge? It's a huge aspect. So security by physics, not maths, eavesdropping shows up immediately, like you had mentioned. So the point that I'm trying to ask you, sir, is this: Defense Minister Rajnath Singh called this a game changer in future warfare. Given India's geography and adversaries, how critical is quantum communication for defense and national security compared to classical cryptography?
Yeah. So as I said, that in classical cryptography, we are relying on some very, very complex mathematical problems, which the current computers cannot solve very easily. So they take ages to solve it. And with quantum computers, it will be very, very fast. Now, there is a race, basically, if you see. In
Sure,
cybersecurity, there is one group of people who are trying to make better codes, more secure codes, so that nobody
sure.
can break them and the data remains secure. On the other hand, there is a group of people who are trying to make more powerful resources to break them. And this will keep running, you may make better
Correct,
and the other better. So there should be
correct.
some end of that. And one end of that would be this quantum cybersecurity, which we call, where you make
Where you
those kind of,
bypass everything, basically, sir.
yeah,
Where
there
you,
is nothing, there is nothing. I mean, this
true.
is fundamentally secure. In fact, there is
Yeah.
no way by physics you can break them. These are what we call probable security or information theoretic security in technical terms. So now, if you see all around us, in case of national security, we are talking about digital India campaign, where
Correct.
everything will be digital, all information will be digital. We are using credit cards, UPIs, and everywhere our secret passwords, our email, our messages are actually in online, in internet, if you see.
Yes.
So we need some mechanism to safeguard it. And quantum security can offer you the best possible way to secure it, especially when we are talking about, say, our credit cards, about our
Yep,
financial
yep,
things,
yep, yep.
about especially about strategic forces, what they are discussing, that is of national
True,
security.
true.
And if it is unbreakable, then they can always make better plans, and they will be better. They will
And
be at
implementation
better.
as well, sir. Just, I mean, the planning, the implementation, I mean, every facet just gets a huge fillip.
Yeah. So can you repeat the last thing what you said?
I'm saying, sir, that the planning, the implementation, the execution, everything just is with this breakthrough, it just gets such a huge fillip. It gets a huge boon for us to do it with a sense of ease in our minds that nobody's watching or nobody's listening.
Yes, yes, yes. So it is very, very. I mean, it is a very. I would say it is a stepping stone, because once we have done this for our national security, then now we have fiber as well as we have free space as well as, and so
Yes,
we can reach to every point basically. And in future, I expect that there will be satellite for longer distances, even longer, like 1,000 or 2,000 kilometers, which will be faster. So that way we can cover up everything. We can cover all kind of things. Say, for example, if there is a navy ship which is far from the seashore, you can still
sure,
communicate with between them through free space communication. You can
sure.
connect. Fiber is already there. And in fact, all our experiments, all our demonstrations were such that they are directly compatible with the existing fiber. We are not making any using any specialized instruments for that. All are the existing instruments only, so that they are
Mhm.
directly implementable. So that way we are
I
trying to yeah,
just
please go.
to understand it for myself, sir. When you talked about cryptography, you talked about the fact that this works. This is not math. It's going to work on a physics perspective. I just wanted to understand this for maybe myself and the audience probably. Layered, is this layered on top of an existing crypto, or is this a full replacement?
No, so the mechanism is entirely different. In
Okay,
classical or existing cryptography, what you do that you first make a key or a code,
sure.
which is by which you encrypt the information. You
Hmm.
send that code some way to the other party who will use it to decrypt the information. But the
True.
question is how you safely send this code from one party to another. Because if
Hmm.
this is taken by somebody, then they can also use it. Anybody can use it,
Hmm.
in fact.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
quantum solutions, quantum security essentially provides a safe way to to distribute the keys from one user to other. That's why it is called sometimes quantum key distribution, as you already
Sure.
mentioned as well.
Yes.
So
Yes.
here we are using these quantum features to, especially photons in our case, to distribute this key from one place to another. And the good thing
Got
here
it.
is that there is no key in advance. I mean, nobody can steal the key because the key is not in the beginning. The key
Hmm.
is developed or generated while you are doing the communication. So
Okay.
it generates as well as it distributes at the same time. So this is the
Okay.
beauty of this protocols, that there is no key a priori, so nobody can steal anything. And while
Hmm.
you are doing communication, you can get the key. All the parties will get the key, and they will be secure. And anybody who steals the information will be got caught also.
Right.
That is the
Understood.
additional.
That
Yeah,
is the
yeah, yeah,
additional
yeah.
aspect.
Yes.
So, sir, I mean, that brings me to the next aspect, which is, of course, what is key is that we are talking about scaling this, which is extremely
Yeah.
now. I mean, we are on that point, and it's a point of a lot of pride. But with the National Quantum Mission backing research and PM Modi urging space tech startups to mint 5 unicorns in about 5 years, how do you see academia, industry, DRDO collaboration evolving? First point, and can India realistically create a commercial ecosystem around quantum secure communications in the next decade?
Yeah, so that is the goal. In fact, you talked about National Quantum Mission. So
Hmm.
since now, there is something we have already done, the next step would be how it can be translated to a final product or a technology and can be used by the society at large. That is the goal.
Yes.
For
Yes.
that, the National Quantum Mission has already plans, and I'm very much thankful to the government who has really pushed it in a way that there is a good amount of fund provided to academics, to industry, to startups even, because startups are very, very important here, because they will be
Sure.
the prototyping ones and then finally going to translating to the
And that
industries
will
for.
probably assist in a big way, Professor. Correct me if I'm wrong. That is going to assist in a big way for that scaling aspect that we have just mentioned.
Exactly. Because, as an academician, we cannot do everything. We can
True.
propose something, we can proof of concept something, and then the next step would be to focus toward its implementation. And you
Hmm.
mentioned about this academia industry DRDO. In fact, this activity of free space communication has been done in a center of this, which we call DIA COE, that is
Right.
DRDO Industry Academia Center of Excellence. And it is a
Hmm.
kind of a ecosystem, because you need to provide ways by which the technology can be nurtured, it can be taken to the next level, especially by startups, and then further translated to a industry. And in all these scales, a mentorship part should be there, because it's a deep tech. A new
Yes.
person only cannot make quantum kind of things, because it requires a lot of prior understanding as well. And
Right.
especially with this kind of geopolitical situation nowadays, where make in India is a prime focus,
Yes. Yes.
especially Swadeshi and other things we are talking about. This is
Absolutely.
a very, very important aspect. And there is a provision in National Quantum Mission that finally we are talking in terms of technology readiness levels. That, okay,
Hmm.
every technology you propose, you tie up with the stakeholders, whether it is startup or industry, and finally you come up with a product which can
Hmm.
be later on improvised and can be implemented in the society and can help the society. That is the goal. And that's why
Very
in the
quickly.
next decade, we are expecting that in the next decade, when this National Quantum Mission will roughly, have its objectives done, we will have some very, very nice technologies which will be emerged, and in fact, they will be commercialized as well.
Wonderful. Professor, very quickly before I move on to our next point of discussion, which is extremely very important as well, which is of course the roadmap that you see. Before I get into that, I would really want to ask you this: that what do you think needs to be addressed on an urgent basis? Is it the talent? Is it the funding? Is it something else that will help us achieve the kind of scale that we just spoke about, you and I? What do you feel could be that one area which might be just something which needs a little more attention?
Yeah. So what exactly you said in the last line, because I could not hear it.
What I meant was what I said was, Professor, that before I move on to the roadmap that you're looking at, before I get into that, what do you feel could be that one area that maybe requires a little extra attention? Is it the talent pool? Is it the funding for us to achieve that kind of scale that you're talking about?
Yeah. So I think the most, I mean, all are important, but the most important part is the skilled manpower, because
Skill
these
manpower.
are, yeah, because these are the deep tech technologies. Even if you have a lot of money, if you don't have a skilled person, how you will progress, how you will go ahead?
Hmm.
So I think training human resource with this kind of skilled, I mean, making them skilled in quantum areas so that they could take, either they can come up with a startup or they can themselves contribute with academics or with industries to develop these
Mhm.
kind of technologies. That is very crucial aspect in my opinion.
Fair enough. So, I mean, of course, I would love to, of course, now understand from you, Professor, what do you feel is the roadmap for us moving forward, and by when can we expect trusted node-free networks, hybrid fiber-free space grids, and eventually a quantum satellite beaming secure keys across the country? What are your thoughts on this roadmap that you would like to maybe plan, because you have been
Yeah.
leading the
So
mission so beautifully well?
Yeah, so as we talked about National Quantum Mission, we have already a broader roadmap in mind because it has been already as an objective of National Quantum Mission. For example, it says that we have to be able to make a backbone network within India for 2,000 kilometers in fiber as well as 2,000
Would you
kilometers
be
in satellite.
kind enough, sir, to maybe give us maybe some tentative timelines, or maybe thoughts that you might have as you're probably going across and unfolding this roadmap? By when do you
Yes,
feel
yes,
each
sure,
thing
sure,
is
sure,
happening?
sure. So if you look into the current state of arts, the current situation is that we have some free space thing, like 1 kilometer, for example.
Yes.
We have some fiber-based communications, which we have demonstrated, whether we call intercity communications. Now, how it will be finally reaching to user? For that, we have
Hmm.
to make a network. This is the next step. So
Sure.
the goal would be to make network, which will be basically quantum network, which will include these fiber-based stretches, the free space-based stretches, and they will connect some cities. Will be something within metropolitan level, within something a longer distance level. So this is the next stage where which we are currently aiming at. At the
Sure.
same time, we are aiming at prototyping our technology so that we can give it to somebody to implement. For example, they should not remain just tabletop kind of solutions. They should be a
Fair.
proper rugged kind of solution. So
Sure.
that is the first thing. Then we will, because that there is not a single solution. I told you that we need both free
True.
space and
Yes. Yes.
similarly there are different type of protocols. I told you that some use entanglement, some do not use entanglement, and they have their own pro and cons. So ultimately the goal would be to go with a hybrid kind of technology where we will have both kind
Nice.
of with us. We have both, we have free space as well, we have fiber as well, and we
Hmm.
should also aim for satellite as well. So all this
Nice.
will together go. And currently we will go with the networks where since the distances I which talked about, that 100 kilometer 200 kilometer we have, after 200 kilometer we have to make some trusted node to go for longer. But these
Got it.
trusted nodes are also some security loopholes ultimately, because there we have the secret information. And
Sure.
entanglement offers us a way to get rid of these trusted nodes, which is called trusted node free based network, that
Yes.
uses quantum entanglement and quantum repeaters or even quantum teleportation. So these are some of the areas which are basically more fundamental. So we have to address them as well. And at the same time, we should also lead toward the technologies. So both should go hand in hand, in my opinion, because only then we will be able to not only develop a network but also use the newly developed technologies over that network. And finally, once this network is ready and we have also quantum computers or
Right.
processors ready, then we can make what we call quantum internet.
Nice.
So that would
So
be the
what,
next level. Yeah.
as a very curious and of course an excited person that I am, and I'm sure a lot of people watching would also love to probably understand, Professor, that you're a man who sets himself some very realistic and very, very urgent deadlines. So, will it be correct for me to ask you in terms of when are we going to go ahead and have a conversation again on another breakthrough that you have just spoken about, maybe in terms of time?
Okay, thank you.
No, Professor, I'm asking you, by when do you feel that all of whatever you've just mentioned, will it be possible? Will it be something that we would have achieved?
No, so as I told you, the timeline is next 5 years or so. So in next five
Okay,
years,
okay.
yeah. So
Professor,
the
I don't
quantum,
think I can wait that long to have a conversation with you. I would like to have it a lot sooner. Mm. No pressure,
yeah,
of
we
course.
have more opportunity, surely. Yeah. I mean, thanks to you that whatever we are doing, it is actually reaching to general public, and people would be able to know that what we are doing in different institutions and what kind of efforts are being done to in terms of the existing technologies and the futuristic technologies. So of course, if we have something new comes up, we will be happy to discuss with you.
Thank you,
Yeah.
sir. But of course, before finally, Professor, I would like to understand from you globally, as we already know, the China has its mission satellite. US, the United States has been doing some great work. Where do you see us with this breakthrough coming for us, this milestone that we achieved? Where do you see us in the entire global race, and how? And what are the things that we need to maybe partner with, if at all, or we need to accelerate to be maybe head to head or even beyond that, as far as the global race is concerned?
Yeah. So if you see China or US, they started roughly 25 years before. So
Yes,
if you compare that, what India has started, we started roughly 4 or 5 years before. And in fact, in this quantum mission case, we are starting just this year, if you see. So we are
wonderful.
relatively like a newborn compared to all these countries we have been doing for last 20, 25 years. And
But I
they
think
have
we are
actually
very, very talented in terms of our birth. I must say that.
so if you
Gifted.
see that way, the amount of funds they have put, the amount of
Sure,
skilled manpower they have generated, this is really uncomparable with India. But the good
sure.
thing is that eh, as we starting late, we are starting in a very focused manner, and we have the benefit of being, not first also, because we know that what not to do. Because when they
Correct,
started, they had a lot of wrong things as well, which was not
correct.
clear that time what to do. So we have more focused agenda, and I believe that with this kind of push, what governments are doing, what academicians and industries are doing, I am pretty sure that in next 5 years or 7 years time, we will be quite comparable with many of these countries. And in next 10 years or so, we will be leading in some of those areas as well. Not
You know, Professor, I would like to just draw your attention to a company
everything,
which
but
is
at least
called,
some.
yeah, fair enough. But I would like to draw your attention to a company called Apple. What you just mentioned, right? They didn't build the phone;
Yeah, yeah,
they actually redefined it. So I'm pretty sure,
yeah,
Professor, given your brilliance, we might just be able to achieve that, if not even better.
yeah. I mean, that is what we are also aiming actually. Yes.
Wonderful. Final message, Professor, that you would like to give to all of the people watching, your team maybe, who is listening in, and something that you want to say to them from the bottom of your heart, which you haven't said to them till now. Maybe this is a moment which you'd like to share.
Yeah, so what I would like to say that since these are very new technologies and we are just starting to, to work on those areas and to demonstrate something, probably it will take some time before it reaches to the users, because these new technologies needs to be tested very hardly,
Sure.
because we are talking about security. If we have done something, we cannot just put it in the implementation phase. We need to do a lot of R&D on that. We need to make it better and more robust in next 3 4 years. And once we are assured that okay, now the technology is very good, matured, and is implementable, only then we implement it. So probably it will take some time in the beginning, but we are sure that in near future we will be able to implement that and make it secure as much as what we call quantum security. Yeah.
One message to your team before I let you go.
So can you repeat again? I could not hear
I
the
said
last line.
one message to your team, Professor. before I let you go? That team that has worked so amazingly,
Yeah,
mightily
so
with
I
you.
would like to acknowledge their efforts because it's very hard to work day and night. In the night, all of our experiments are running starting at 10 o'clock to 3 or 4 in the morning. So they have been working very hard and they have been really enthusiastic toward these new kind of technologies. I'm also acknowledging the kind of support we have received from our families because the
Nice.
people who are behind, they were, though they
Yep.
are not in the but they were the one who were actually motivating us to work in the nights in these kind of missions. So I'm really thankful to all of them and acknowledge their efforts in these directions. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, Professor, uh, like I've said again and again, and I think it's still not enough, but we are truly honored to have had spoken to you today on Front Page by AIM Network. And we wish you all the best, Professor. This is a
Thank,
huge, momentous milestone that you and your team has achieved. And like you said, it is the birth of a wonderfully gifted child that has taken place with this particular milestone. And this child is going to grow up into something truly a trail blazing entity. I'm very sure of that.
thank you very much. It was
You
very
take care,
pleasure.
Professor. Thank you so much.
Thank,
It was truly an honor.
thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Well, that was, of course, Professor Bhaskar, a brilliant man, person who has worked really hard with his team and he's acknowledged it. And of course, more than that, he has done something for India which will go down in the annals of history. It is truly momentous. This is not abstract physics. This is a new kind of lock for India's most sensitive data proven outside the lab. India's successful 1 kilometer free space quantum secure communication test isn't just a laboratory milestone. It's actually the first building block of a future quantum internet that could redefine cybersecurity, defense strategy, and even financial systems. From Vindhyanchal's fiber experiments to this free space leap at IIT Delhi, India is proving that it can compete with the very best, including China and the United States, in the quantum race. And with 6,000 crore rupees under the National Quantum Mission, PM Modi's call to create 5 space tech unicorns in 5 years, and DRDO academia partnerships maturing into real world applications, India's quantum economy could soon rival its space economy. The next big leap will be satellite based QKD, turning this 1 kilometer campus link into hundreds of kilometers across space, as the professor mentioned. If successful, which I'm pretty sure we will be, India will not just secure its skies, but also position itself as a global hub for quantum secure networks and applications. In short, and with a lot of pride, this breakthrough tells the world India isn't just catching up, nope, it's preparing to lead the quantum future. Well, with that inspiration, we come to the end of Front Page. Yes, we are powered by Cypher 2025, which is, of course, India's biggest AI summit and expo in its 9th edition. It will take place at KTPO Whitefield, Bengaluru from the 17th to the 19th of September. And Front Page is on AIM Network. AIM, which is India's definitive media organization on AI and technology. I know you think AI, so obviously you think AIM.